Welcome back to the Paladins Open Qualifiers. My name is Rain Day, and I'm joined by Hi-Rez Pretty Hair. It's time to get into the semifinals for today, the second set, and that's going to be Xenosy versus Astral Authority.
Definitely here. Both of these teams, like we mentioned, have excellent Bomb Kings, and that's interesting to me because just the sheer difference in drafts that we're seeing versus yesterday in Europe is absolutely crazy here. We'll see if any of these guys are going to bring out Torvald. I think is a big question mark. We haven't seen anybody really lean on Torvald as much as Matchpoint just did in their series, and Bomb King is a very good, I guess, counter because you can to Torvald, excuse me. Because he scales so well with Wrecker. You can use Poppy Bomb to throw off his positioning, which is, in a lot of cases, has to be pinpoint perfect to get those highlight hyper beams off of the map. And it'll be very interesting to see how teams are able to utilize them against us. Also, we didn't see any hooks off of Hyper Beam or anything like that. We didn't see any cancellations, I think, of it. And Bomb King it's easier to disrupt, I think, with a Poppy Bomb than a hook because, you know, you're using hook basically off cooldown, right? Yeah. You're not saving hook to try and cancel out the Hyper Beam. And also, Hyper Beam being up so often throws you off, right? Because you have kind of like your mental timer of like, he hasn't used it, you know? Yeah. Whereas like Cutie got that back in 15 seconds. Yeah. In that last fight.
And he was running Chronos. He wasn't even running Morale Boost, which is just to showcase how fast he actually charges it naturally without that steroid of the item that you can pick up in the game. So Jaguar Falls banned away as well by Astral Authority, and Timber Mill banned on Xenosy. So good chance we'll see Stone Keep again. Good chance we'll see one of the ice maps. Frog Isle, though, will be where we start. And if we were questioning whether they'll bring out Torvald at all in this set, I would say it would have to be answered right here on this map.
If they were comfortable whatsoever doing it, it'll be here. Astral Authority with the first pick. Surprise, they're going to be Makoa. Just so strong, you know, Dredge Anchor. Dredge Anchor and Ancient Rage are basically his two highlight abilities. Xenosy going to answer back, though, with the HRX meta for Nana Ruckus.
And, you know, this is different because, you know, now we look at the way Matchpoint was drafting. You saw a healer and a tank taken here, and it gave them flexibility on their tank towards the end. And maybe even pressured Astral Authority or the opposing team to pick up a secondary tank, saying, oh, we don't want to give that to them. They'll have a little bit too much sustain. Let's grab that in our last pick. But now, actually, Astral Authority showing that they really care about the Torvald here. Do you think Xenosy would have grabbed him?
I don't think they needed to pick it up that early.
So I feel like they could have really let that go.
I think that's a mistake in this draft. Xenosy, I seriously doubt would have picked up a third frontliner. But yeah, Astral Authority just getting a little excited there, I think, to pull it out. They give up. I think Shaolin probably is what they forego.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Do they not care about Shaolin? And they're fine with the Cassie. They're fine with the Eevee. This could be the case. Drogos will be selected, and Shaolin and Drogos, very big counters to Torvald as well. But it's not like Cassie can't do the same thing if she was going to be on the other side. So meanwhile, they get the pick that they wanted. Torvald on Frog Isle. Why is this so important?
There's just hazard zone throughout the map, throughout the payload push, on the point fight, in the beginning, middle, and end of the payload push. Hyper Beam is a threat. PowTecH is going to be on the Torvald. The Runic Sage for Astral Authority. iDropBodies on Cassie, Madman on Makoa, Vex 30 on Maldamba, and Evulli on Eevee.
Smidgen on the side of Xenosy will be on the Fernando. Z1 Unknown on the Shaolin, Tooney on the Pip, Cacanuck on the Drogos, and tinyFetus on the Ruckus. And you see here the loadout from Torvald, and this one actually going for a Runic Blast cooldown.
Runic Blast and
recharge. So being, you know, this Torvald now that PowTech's playing, really trying to maybe silence his opponents and just stay healthy, Nick.
Yep, I mean, they have the Makoa, right? So the hook into the silence is going to be the most confirmable deadly CC chain, I think, in Paladins, especially given the cooldowns. It is a long cooldown, though. Runic Blast is a fairly long cooldown, so 4 seconds off will definitely help have that combo available more often than not.
Z1 Unknown in the back line, just spraying those arrows with Planet, and he finds the kill on the Madman. So Torvald is kind of left there by himself. Not going to be any way for him to get onto this point as of yet, but Evulli with Eevee is pressuring out. He's going to soar into the air. Will he fall? Yes, Tooney actually will pick him up mid air as the pip. Fantastic play by Tooney, showing that aim that we talked about on the Androxus, on the Bomb King. Now applying over to pip as well, with 87% for Xenosy and no contest by Astral Authority.
Yeah, getting hooked in though, Tooney is now, but he will find the return kill there onto Madman, Z1 Unknown, and Smidgen doing work here. I like seeing, these guys, we saw Spunky playing Shaolin, we're seeing Smidgen play Fernando. We're seeing the actual flexibility of these guys who were, they were pigeonholed on their old teams.
Yep, Smidgen actually played a lot of Fernando before Wardoom was on the roster as well. I remember him on Frog Isle doing that as well. And so Cacanuck and the boys of Xenosy starting out strong against Astral Authority. We've mentioned the name Evulli. He's one of those that has been kind of on our lips for a while with Bomb King and some of the amazing plays he's pulled off, especially right here on this map, Nick, on Frog Isle. But so far, his Eevee's been quite silent today.
Yeah, definitely. It's a struggle, right, for him to kind of get in there and mix it up against double frontliner. So you want to know Shaolin's so dangerous as well. And Pip is very elusive. There's not a lot of great targets for this Eevee aside from the Shaolin, and it's such a good player playing it. He knows how to deal with it. Z1 Unknown knows Eevee inside and out.
And we did say that there was a bit of a mistake in the draft that we felt, just prioritizing Torvald too early, not recognizing the needs of Xenosy and what they were really going to go for. Here's a good Hexafire combo. Are they even going to kill the Makoa? They're not. That's awkward. 2 ultimates used to kill 1 turtle, and the turtle comes out the winner. Though tinyFetus and Cacanuck make sure that their team definitely gets some consolation prizes as well. PowTecH with 2. Slays Smidgen and tinyFetus. So yeah, that Hyper Beam still coming into play.
Just look around you, Paladins fans, right now. That 60% of that fight is surrounded by Hazard Zone. There's even Hazard Zone off the back of Overwear in the spawn, basically. There's a little window that players can be pushed out and killed. So Torvald definitely right there. That window you can also go for and knock people out of. So important on this map, but just didn't need to come that early in the draft.
But here's the Dragon Punch. Cacanuck looking for none other than Torvald. Bodies actually goes and takes the hit for him. Like just that guy that, comes in at the end and just does that thing that makes you say, wow, he's the hero of this movie. He pushes the girl out of the way of the moving car. And he saves Torvald, but it is to no avail. However, Torvald stays alive, charges his ultimate a little bit more, 53% now as they move into round 2. 2-0, Xenosy with the lead.
Yep. Going to be coming through now. Smidgen already with the Cauterize 2 online. tinyFetus with Cauterize 2 and Resilience 2 online. So we will see the Resilience counter to the Hyper Beam here. So tinyFetus won't be as susceptible to getting pushed off the map. And Advance from Ruckus. Advance is a charge as opposed to things like Poppy Bomb that are just a knockback, or Weightless where you just kind of have more air control and more jump height. Charges will counter Hyper Beam's knockback for the duration of the charge. So Fernando will kind of charge against the Hyper Beam, not to full effectiveness for the duration of the charge, but then immediately start to get pushed back. So Resilience in combination with Advance, I think, is going to prevent tinyFetus from being knocked off the map.
25K. The 2,500K there you see happening onto the shield of Torvald from the skies of Cacanuck's Drogos, and it's just proving to be so effective.
C1, baby, let's go.
Not save
let's
much.
go.
C1 going into the back line, planted here. He's going to try and fight Cassie. Torvald got the lock on him, but that will finish his life, with bodies finishing him up. 36% though for Xenosy.
Moving on now, doesn't land the hook. Ancient Rage available. Big fire spits around the corner, just keeping everyone from Astral Authority unhealthy. They can't come around this corner at fall. There's the Hyper Beam, will get 1 off the mat. Smidgen goes down. That's nothing he can really do about it. Nothing Smidgen did wrong in that situation. Ripping through that 10,000 HP with ease, though, is Xenosy.
And here's the Evil Mojo available by Tooney. So
Astral
Authority here now with an advantage, but iDropBodies the only one on the objective. A great disengage mid air jump from Pip, and so that Weightless will actually not do him any good, won't even get him onto the objective, and a great heads up play by Bodies to go ahead and make sure Astral Authority get themselves back in this game. And now with Torvald on the push, this could be dangerous.
52% on that Hyper Beam already, 2 minutes remaining. 60% on the Ice Storm. Cacanuck just trying to get some poke down over the walls, but a great job, I think, and a little bit just too slow on their feet. They didn't account for the disengage, I guarantee, was the issue there. There's the Evil Mojo coming out from long distance.
Oh, good job.
Does finally get a kill off the back of that, and that's I like the call for that to come out. Then, you know, it's a free team fight win, and you don't want to sit on Evil Mojo all around.
Yeah, and if it's even not the win, you don't get the kill, you push them all back. They all retreat. Nobody wants to go into the battle as a chicken. Those chickens don't do damage yet, Dry Bear. Might 20 a peck. We're hoping for that. Game paused by PowTecH. And that'd be the best top play ever, man. But the game paused by PowTecH, unfortunately, at this moment, they're just looking to have a bit of a conversation with their teammates. And it's actually a great pause. One of the better pauses I've ever seen, because they're not in the middle of like getting headshot or you know trying to survive off a cliff, you know, after being hooked off there. So it's just I think now the time for Astral Authority to really play this minute and 30 seconds correctly, because they have a chance to tie this thing up, Nick, and going 3-1 down is a very big deficit.
Yeah, they have the Hyper Beam is going to be the be-all, end-all, ultimate to punch through here. So the timing on that, there's an awkward amount of time because he's sitting at about 84% right now, and a minute 34 is more than enough time to get it charged back up. So the fine line here between, do they use this to win these team fights, or do they lean on other things like Ice Storm with their setup? They haven't been wombo comboing really super well off of that. They haven't been utilizing Dredge Anchor into Runic Blast, I think, a whole lot. And that's kind of the crux of his loadout. That's what he went for. That's what he dumped all 4 points into, was to get a cooldown on Recharge and get his cooldown on Runic Blast. And it's a very different play style opposed to what we saw coming out of Wardoom, coming out of Custody, where they were more focused on some of that protection. But I've loved what I've seen from Torvald so far. I'm really glad that he's seeing some utilization. Yeah,
Torvald, I think, is definitely changed the way teams have been playing, especially playing around him. And now on the offensive push as well, I'll be interested to see where on Frog Isle he has a big impact, because defensively we saw he could be very good at just stalling that push. Yeah. But how can he really position? What spots will players take against him specifically, and how will that affect their ability to kind of control the long lines of sight? Will they have to kind of pull back behind some of those corridors and you sit behind some walls, afraid of Torvald's ultimate, and maybe that gives some easier space for, you know, Astral Authority to really push through the difficult chokes where they typically would be holding much more of their ground.
Yeah, so being that Torvald's on the offensive here, I'm going to ask you guys to try and paint a picture of that final stretch of payload push on Frog Isle. He's got the back window, right, where in the spawn, where everyone can be blown out of. Alternatively, what he can do is, if he's on his mount, you know, charge or not, just kind of Torvald waddle his way back there and position himself in the spawn of the defending team and blow everyone out away, counter where the payload is coming from, blow them over it and off the edge, because there's just so much hazard zone to be had.
I caught your football, man.
On Frog Isle.
You were going down. You were going Hail Mary on that one, bro.
There's a lot of Hail Mary plays to be made with the Hyper Beam, and looks like they do not want to go down 3-1 here. Xenosy with the chance to benefit from the defense point, as they did convert in the first round and are sitting at 2-1.
Minute 12 seconds left on the clock. Torvald is here. Hyper Beam not yet charged. He's going down quickly, though. That will be the end of Torvald for then. And C1 Unknown has just been I think the thorn, or more likely the arrow in Torvald's side here, with Wrecker, Shaolin, and Drogos are incredible counters to shields, and they're proving to be really a pain for Torvald to set himself up for these ults.
So much burst damage, right? Planted is an absolute ton of damage, especially because it does scale off of Wrecker. That's the important thing to note here again in the Torvald matchup. And Dragon Punch, of course, doesn't matter how much shield.
Oh, baby.
They're going for the back door right now. Evulli picking up 2 kills, and now Xenosy might be in a bit of a good spot here, as they are now falling back to their spawn, just trying to get regrouped here. A great flank from Astral Authority to get this payload off the ground. They needed to get some sort of momentum going, and they have found it.
Yeah, and now here's the thing. Evulli could have really, Evulli really changed that fight as the Eevee stayed alive, focused a lot of the Rux's attention, and then got a double kill onto the damage flankers holding the right side. So now he and his team have a little bit of free reign. There's a big stun coming out that does apply a little bit of pressure onto Astral Authority, but the damage is consistently coming in. Great dodge roll by iDropBodies. He's going to heal back up into the gourd, get the lifesteal from his ability as well, and get the extra bonus damage, and that will take down the Ruckus. He's looking to finish off the shields of Fernando. Dodge roll into safety, and he will actually go down thanks to Cacanuck. But here is Torvald. Where's the Hyper Beam? He's going to go down before he can use it, and overtime is in play.
If he doesn't use it there as the overtime, I don't think the call was to use it there. They want to save it. for this point fight here, but they do give up the point, you know, to Xenosy for defending there. And I really think there was plenty of people, plenty of targets that he could have blasted out of that window there. You can see Tooney kind of looking at where I'm talking about right now, but they will have 3 ultimates heading into this, Torvald being one of them, obviously. 854 credits in hand, 1,000 for drop bodies as PowTecH dumps his into Rejuvenate and 1 into Resilience there, trying to get out of that evil mojo from Tooney a little bit earlier, which is also online. Record 3 will be the choice for bodies as an expensive 900 credit burn card, but will allow her to now blast through that Fernando shield just a little bit quicker.
Shot landing as well is, I think, the big key. If they can finish him off, Z1 Unknown's pressure that he is applying it to Torvald can set up for some much more effective hyper beams. And now that is a huge ice block by Evulli to stay the damage coming out from Pip. But look at that Dread Serpent. It is a lifesaver, literally making sure Evulli gets stay alive and taking down Tooney. Huge swing. So the healer goes down on the side of Xenosy. And now that Moldamba for Astral Authority keeping everyone alive and healthy. Though Xenosy are the only ones to have stepped foot on the objective thus far.
Ice Storm coming out in the backline right now, but not a ton of follow-up there. Evulli going to be taken down as well. tinyFetus gets dropped. There's the Evil Mojo and the Hyper Beam.
Oh!
Look at that knockback. That is almost the full distance of the map there. You might want to pick yourself some resilience.
Oh my goodness gracious. And he unfortunately, for PowTecH, doesn't die. He goes right to the edge of the end of Frog Isle, sees the end of the world, and basically is able to turn right back around and tell his friends and actually heal them up and do some damage as well with that explosive flask and those potion shots. And so Madman is just falling down helpless. There's the Ancient Rage though, and that's what he needed. He's on the objective. He's swinging into Ruckus. That advance can only take you so far, buddy. There's the hook onto Shaolin. He's looking to find one more. The withdrawal takes him into a pole, and he will actually go down, and it's 3v1 now. Wrecker will bring down the shields. The hook is gonna miss, and that will spell defeat for Madman unless they can't hit one more rocket, and they can.
No, just ticking down into overtime. It's all but 1 for Xenosy now. The final clock has shrunk midnight here. Game number 1 doesn't go to Torvald, unfortunately, on Frog Isle. So if it didn't work there, I don't know that we'll see it pulled out. Again, I want to go back to that moment in the draft when they picked it up, even though Xenosy already had 2 of their frontliners. I think that was a big mistake. There's no bans in Paladins, so they didn't have to pick it up. They weren't under pressure to pick it up. They gave up the Shaolin as a result.
I think, and you saw it too, it was planted, right? It was planted that really he would impale, he would set up all the wrecker damage, he would just ridiculously pummel through Torvald's shields. It just didn't give him enough time. Also, let's talk about this. Pip, pretty good counter to Torvald as well. The explosive flash does a lot because there's absolutely no way for him to close and create distance when he's slowed, because he's got no inherent movement ability, unlike a lot of the every other frontliner who could advance, who could dash and charge forward, who could, you know, rocket boots away. And obviously Torvald, he's got a lot of gifts, but mobility, it ain't one.
It is not one of them, but he is the best frontliner against Evil Mojo because he does retain any personal shield as he goes into that chicken form, so he could be a very tanky chicken should he have any personal shield going into that. But you can see Z1 Unknown, 73,000 damage, the top in the game coming out on that Shaolin. That was a big pick left up on the board as we saw Astral Authority take the Torvald there. A little bit what we think was early, and that's what separates the top teams from all these guys have phenomenal aim and mechanical skill, but the draft is really where, you know, the top teams like Burrito, like D69, the HRX teams are going to be able to separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, it's going to be a flavor pick as well in terms of the selection of where Torvald is included in the team. Picked a little too early, we felt. We'll see if that happens again. Let's go to the maps and see where they'll play game 2. Xenosy up 4-1 in that game. We'll take game 1 in this best-of-5 set, and Stonekeep will be the next map played. The newest map addition to Paladins. We've seen Torvald be effective here. He's been prioritized by the North American teams. Will he still be prioritized in Stonekeep? I see that possibly happening, but they didn't have as great a performance with Torvald in the last game, Nick. So how do they change that up if they do decide to bring him on the roster?
I mean, me personally, I'm in favor of the way Matchpoint played it because, you know, we both agree protection we think is the strongest ability. I don't think so. I don't think it's the case. You know, Runic Blast is a great ability. It just has a very long cooldown and a very short range. And like you mentioned, mobility is not a strength of Torvald, so he struggles to get in range of that. Makoa was there for the setup, but that's a lot of stuff. Protection is just fire and forget. Every time it's up, just slam Q on one of your teammates that are in danger, and you get value for it. And you know, finding value in every cooldown is the point of cooldown reduction. If you get CDR, every second that Runic Blast is available when you go into CDR is wasted. It's wasted loadout points. Whereas protection, you can use it from anywhere on the map, so you're getting value for that CDR every time you mash that Q button when it comes up. That's the whole reason you go into things like cooldown reduction. You know, and I also think it's interesting as the picks come out now, looking at the ability to use the silence versus the shielding. You know, it's got so many other implications. The silence is more for you. I mean, it's sometimes for your teammates, following up on what they do, but I feel like protection is just much more of an all-around catch-all. Like, everyone is going to do better with a 2,000 health shield. Yeah. Like, that is, have you ever tried to box a Cassie at a pro level who has 2,000 more health than her base health? It's not going to go well. And so if you can apply that every 5 seconds, you're right, it's going to be so much more valuable. Here's a good draft that we're seeing, though, Nick. Torvald not in it yet. Frontliner's already taken. I would anticipate Astral Authority now to potentially grab him. Phenomenal picks right now. Fernando, Shaolin, Cassie, Maldamba are great. Ruckus going pretty early here. This could be the downfall of Xenosy. They pick up the Grover as well, so they're going in for the pick. I think they need to take the Drogos here just so Astral Authority don't. Yeah, I mean, the Drogos could be pretty strong as well, but they got the Bomb King we know. It's another similar, you know. Yeah, that's a factor in this series. That's why I said Drogos, because Bomb King normally isn't a factor, but this series is. There are very good Bomb King players on both teams, so they could have taken the Drogos, but Bomb King would have been just as good of an answer, I think, for Astral Authority. But the Drogos will be the selection for Astral Authority here, rounding things out. I definitely like their comp on paper better. Yeah, I mean, and also taking the Bomb King away from you know, Evulli, who's really made a name for himself legitimately. And also Tooney, he feels so comfortable. I think on Stone Keep as well. Like, this is where I saw his Bomb King earlier. We saw it earlier today as well. It feels like Bomb King and Stone Keep could have some nice synergy here. In the AGG tournament? Is that what you're talking about? I was watching that game as well. And super good. And another time, too. I mean, he's played this Bomb King on this map a lot. Smidgen will be for Xenosy on the Grover this time. Love to see his Grover plays. We'll have to follow along with him a little bit. Tooney on the Bomb King. Z1 Unknown on his Eevee. Cacanuck on Makoa. And tinyFetus on that famous Hexa-firing Master Riding Ruckus. Astral Authority down 1-0. iDropBodies will be on Drogos. Madman on Fernando, Evulli on Shaolin, Vex on Maldamba, and PowTecH on Cassie. 2 Cauterizers on the board, 1 Wrecker as it stands for Evulli and Vex 30. Just trying to get that Dread Serpent. Morale boost Maldamba, I think, is very underrated. He is another character that can get his ultimate charged up fairly quickly, just dumping shots into frontliners. Wow, look at this line of sight, too, that Smidgen's found for Grover. One shot from the axe and then 1 bomb coming out from Bomb King. It's just so effective. And then the Vine, he's able to get to his teammates when he needs to burst them up. And this is just exactly what Grover brings to Stone Keep and to Paladins in general. He's got that long-range pressure that could just change the tide of a fight. You don't expect that axe coming. You don't expect to get crippled. You expect to have your movement speed up, and then when he needs to, bam, Vine to a teammate, heals them up. 72% counting for Xenosy on the objective. Astral Authority hoping, praying for a chance to get back in this game. Yeah, they're getting some kills there. Vex 30 goes down. Cacanuck able to find the angle around that Fernando shield here, and they just... Astral Authority was just too slow to get on the point. I mean, it's too little, too late. The Xenosy were at 79% before they even had to back off, before they started dropping kills. I mean, it's just, you gotta make moves quicker than that for sure. Objective captured by Xenosy. You know, moves not made quickly, Nick. iDropBodies, though, usually we see him on Cassie and on Androxus. I have not, I think, ever seen him on Drogos, and I don't know if this is maybe just not something new in his champion pool that he's been working on. How do you think this is faring in this game? We'll have to see how it plays out, how he's able to get these ultimates off. He's not, he lands a bunch of damage right there to get his ultimate charge, but before that, he shouldn't, Shaolin, I don't think, should be beating him to ultimate charge, especially with double frontliner on the table. He should be able to blast them away. Z1 Unknown finding some nice kills on the backside as well. Nowhere to run, nowhere to retreat to for Madman. Z1Unknown keeping himself healthy with a little flicker dance over on the side.
Giving him 300
Nice
potential
Ice
health
Storm.
there. Great Ice Storm as well. As Nick mentioned, it's going to just keep all of them locked away. And one of the things about Stonekeep too, great Ice
Haven,
Block.
shout outs to Haven.
Shout out to Haven and to Ice Block too, man.
Enjoy while it lasts.
That
Z1.
immunity is beautiful, and you know what? The benefit of this with Spring coming early for Grover and his teammates is that they're going to be able to push this through. But with Stonekeep in particular, it's kind of like you can't stay right here, right outside. You can't actually affect the point fight very much. You have to step up. And then usually when you do that, you get into the death zone.
You get hooked.
Yeah, you get hooked, you get in trouble. People can poke you pretty well, despite having the upper advantage, which usually is a big deal in shooters.
And frankly, it's far enough away. The edge of that ledge is far enough away from the spawn where you can be punished and taken down by a character. Guys like Z1Unknown, you saw it. They took one step out of spawn. Cassie got ulted there and taken down. Cacanuck will not have his ultimate available, but will pick up the Master Riding. And the Haven there, getting himself in the battle a little bit quicker. We're seeing tinyFetus go with the Cauterize too as well. Big blast shield investments from PowTecH and from Vex there, so a nice damage split from Z1Unknown. Everyone will be just as vulnerable to those Mako hooks and the Grover axes, most notably.
Smidgen and Z1Unknown looking to make it 2-0 again on this map to clean it up 4-0, make it 2-0 in the series. A lot of numbers there, a lot of O's, a lot of favoritism going on towards the side of Xenosy, and for good reason. They've created it themselves, but can this dragon turn things around? iDropBodies with a great ultimate and a great shot there. Oh, great fire spit as well. Good follow-up by Evulli. Narrowly misses killing the Makoa, but he is after Smidgen, and despite hitting some AoE on that shot, he is going to get help by Madman to clean up the kill. And Astral Authority taking authority over this match and possibly this set.
Staggered respawns too is the name of the game there. Xenosy unable to get back as 5 for the contest. Unable to contest whatsoever. Z1Unknown needs a big rocket as he comes out of Ice Block. 2 minutes for this push. We are freshly in this payload. That tinyFetus is definitely caught out. There's no way. That's the right decision though. I mean, there's no way you're getting out of there, so might as well get some ultimate charge, maybe get some credits for doing damage.
Caught up Stonekeep Creek without a paddle, man.
There you go.
And he's just not enjoying his stay. So he's going to go back to base, see if he can get a refund for that one and have his teammates come along this time as well. Both of them, actually all 4 of them, just getting decimated by the area pressure coming out from Drogos. iDropBodies finding his rhythm now with Evulli as well.
Nice.
What an impale going in. Z1Unknown, great instinctive play too, and he's going to soar out of that one and stay alive. Great play by Z1. Even better play, really instinctively by Evulli, but just couldn't finish it off.
Hexafire came out in that last fight, but didn't find any kills. So Astral Authority did get put on the back foot. So I guess there's value in that. Z1Unknown didn't go down either on his EV. A lot of ultimates available though for Astral Authority, and they're all pretty close to being up. Tooney narrowly escaping that last engagement. There's an Ice Storm coming out. 2 kills, 3 kills for Xenosy, and now his payload push is going to be very stalled out.
You know, and this map too it's a little tough for Fernando. Despite Astral Authority doing well, Makoa, he's got the vertical reach because of the hook. He could affect people who are even on the 3rd tier of this, I believe. But Fernando, he's got the fireball. It's not a significant amount of damage anymore. It really is great if you can get 3 or 4 lined up, but he can't get up to that upper ledge. You can't continue the chase on this map. He can just get picked off, and unfortunately, what that does, it just creates this kind of like wrecker meta that dominates Fernando's shield, and he loses a lot of the value damage-wise, flanking-wise. So I think a lot of people are kind of finding Fernando a little bit difficult right now. The Immortal comes out, still very valuable ultimate, but it looks like he could go down there, and there's Z1Unknown taking down Madman, as we just mentioned.
Yeah, that's huge, but he does go down to Bodies. There's the Grumpy Bomb as well. Bodies will take a spill, and this defense looks like it's gonna hold here. 9 seconds remaining. Nice read from Smidgen. Doesn't get the last shot on Evulli, but you peek a Grover, and you're gonna pay the iron price for peeking Grover. That was awesome.
Spring has come, baby. Spring has come. Grover taking the lead 3-1. They will defend successfully Xenosy over Astral Authority, but Astral Authority have gotten themselves back in this game, and that is important for them. All of the credits getting used here. Madman's got 500 to spend. Could save that for an extra 80 and go into Haven 2. Get himself 20% extra direct damage pressure, but really who's taking him down is Bomb King right now with that double wrecker. He is hitting for over 2,500 per bomb on that shield.
A lot of damage rejuvenate coming out as well. A lot of the core items. Oftentimes it's not super worth it to go into rank 3 of any item just because it's so expensive. So after getting level 2 of the core defensive and offensive items, you'll see players start to go into the yellow utility and the green healing, just kind of luxury. They're not as important as those offensive and defensive options, you know, in most cases, not always, but that is oftentimes the case as we head into round number 3.
And especially if you're matched with your opponents too, you can see what they've bought and you can know, okay, are they having Haven 3? Do I need to go there to be even, or do I just need Haven 2? And that seems to be where a lot of players are settling. Madman takes down Tooney in the process. iDropBodies looking to drop tinyFetus, but Madman will get credit for that kill. Grover over in the side. Smidgen will fall down. Z1 unknown, and he's going to take down Vex in that process. Drogo still in the air, 300 health, but the thrusters will keep him alive and well and damaging the battlefield continuously here.
Astral Authority coming back, clawing their way back into this one. Currently barely in control of the point. Xenosy, the respawns are starting to come through. They did put themselves in a position here to take game number 2 in this round because they did convert in the first round. Benefited from that defense point. Maldamba with a big Dread Serpent. That's a free kill off the back of the Grumpy Bomb. Double kill before Tooney falls down.
Fantastic aim by Tooney. Hits him when he's peeking with the bomb and actually sticks it. But this time, Z1 unknown on the Eevee, and though Tooney dies, he picks up 2 clutch kills on Evulli and another, and is able to turn things around for his squad. A great cripple there by Smidgen. It's going to mean that Xenosy have a victory, and they go up in this series yet again.
Definitely have the chance to close it out now. They are leading 2-0. This is a best of 5 semifinal here between both teams, but I don't really know what went wrong there for Astral Authority.
Yeah, you know, it's
executed a little bit better on.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything really that I didn't like about their draft or their item choices or anything really.
Yeah. I mean, execution is, you know, when you start looking at teams definitely coming from the 16s all the way to the finals, there is that discrepancy in sometimes just teams, right? It's not necessarily the picks or the decisions strategy-wise.
And that can happen. I mean, we saw a lot of snowball yesterday. You know, Xenosy, they captured the first payload, so they are basically up, for all intents and purposes, a whole item over Astral Authority. And conversions in the first round are so big, you know, for your morale, for your credit wallet, for all sorts of things. And being able to find that in the first round is really just what put Xenosy in such a good spot to be able to take this game.
46,000 damage from Bomb King. Z1 unknown beats it out. Seeing a consistent theme of incredibly high damaging EVs lately.
Z1's a beast.
Despite her getting her actual bonus damage nerfed by 10% just recently, a couple patches ago. So Eevee still performing strong by the best players in the world. And iDropBodies, again, 9-7. A lot of the team on Astral Authority kind of performing in that same realm. 10-6, 11-8. Not too impressive, unfortunately, though we've seen some amazing plays from this squad coming up in the past, but they're just not being able to put it together here.
Yeah.
Couple of veterans as well, you know, on the side of
PowTecH struggling a little bit, I think, in the damage department. Cassie a lot of times will take us by surprise how much damage she did, and this time it's the opposite. Is the lack thereof, almost getting out damaged by Smidgen's Grover.
Vex, though, did beat Smidgen in healing by about 5K. Despite that, he was at about 50,000. So it was not bad by them. I just think it was a good flex pick. Smidgen showing that he could play several roles, feeling very comfortable. You know, when Smidgen was on Eevee, he wasn't feeling that comfortable at Paladins Invitational. You could see there was some hesitation in that style, and maybe with the team. But on
that was
on
Matchpoint's biggest weakness, I think, at HRX. They just didn't have a phenomenal Eevee player.
Yeah.
That a lot of the other teams, you know, you look at Sheepa, you look at Lazy and Bird as well. Those are all just, you know, legends when you're talking about Eevee. And, you know, teams like Eager had Z1 unknown. So being able to being so flexible, that's, you know, one of Burrito's strengths we talk a lot about. But being flexible in terms of what you can play is so important.
Well, Z1 now he was on the other side of the the competition when Smidgen was playing and forced to, kind of in that Eevee role. And now Z1, one of the better Eevees we've seen in North America, maybe the best Eevee in North America, he's now at Smidgen's team. So Smidgen knows, hey, I got to play
Bro,
Eevee.
you got it.
But, Smidgen was one of the OG.
Smidgen
really was one of the OG Eevees. It just felt like, maybe there was something out of sync in that matchup. Maybe something out of sync in, obviously he left the team, so maybe it's just something out of sync with the squad there. Serpent Beach will be the next map that they play on, and I think it's important also as we go into the draft to remember these are players, they've got history, and sometimes that history helps to keep them on their toes and aware of certain things that some of the other newer teams haven't yet experienced in terms of drafting, like you mentioned, which is just so important in this game.
Sure, Makoa first locked in here. I don't think we'll see that trend break for some time. I mean, as long as Makoa's got the hook,
I mean, he's just so this is a very clear, like, Makoa first pick meta right now. I mean, even across Europe, the way NA and Europe play are so wildly different. It's like, having, I don't even know. I'm not going to make a funny, I could go into a lot of metaphors, but I don't know if I'd regret saying them at this point. But it's just like, even they all first pick Makoa.
They can all, when
they
NA
can all
and
agree.
EU can come together and agree that Makoa is guaranteed first pick, then it's true.
Then we know there's something that's got to go down here. We got to know there's something that's got to go down, man.
Early Eevee pickup for Xenosy. I mean, Z1 very impactful on it, but that's, I mean, Eevee used to be first pick, but not in some time. They answer back with the Fernando and with the Eevee. The Ruckus going that late, I think it's good. This is a good draft so far from Xenosy for sure.
Bomb King will get picked up, and this will be Evulli's chance to showcase what made him and his team so famous from our minds, and I think from the community's minds as well, coming up even in the Challenger circuit last fall, and now just showcasing it here in the open bracket qualifiers and the semifinals. Grover and Bomb King finally selected, and Victor rounding out by Xenosy. This could, I don't know.
No Androxus.
Yeah, yesterday we saw EU pick up Victor, leave out Androxus, leave out other champions. I don't think Victor's that strong. I would rather see more experimentation in that regard right now. I think he's fine. I just, I don't know. We'll see how it works. Tooney's a great player, though, so it could work out for him. Xenosy, they'll be running with Z1 Unknown on Eevee, Smidgen on Moldava, Tooney on that Victor, Cacanuck on the Fernando, and tinyFetus will be on Ruckus.
Astral Authority. The final chance of this game to hang on in this series will put bodies on Shaolin, Madman on Makoa, Evulli on Bomb King, Grover will be played by Vex30, and PowTecH rounding things out on Cassie. 2 Cauterize, 2 Wrecker, 1 Chronos is the pickups for Astral Authority. Relatively balanced all the way through. No Wreckers. Makoa doesn't really warrant a Wrecker as a solo tank, so a lot of defensive options on the table for Xenosy right out of the gate.
Victor on the low ground. Great grenade. That's going to reset it as well, but he's already getting focused. 927 damage to his name. Health
and now
to
he
his
can't
name.
do anything for the next 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's in trouble here, especially with the pressure. And look at this Tooney. He's landing a lot onto Fernando. Cacanuck could be in trouble. He's going to throw the Grumpy Bomb on there, knowing Fernando's got to stay and fight. And where's he going to go? Into the first blood for Evulli. 240 health, though, and that's huge by Z1 Unknown to clean up the big carry on the side of Astral Authority. Double kill for him, and he's going to just flicker, use that card to heal back up. Though Astral Authority and Evulli's play have gotten them the point for now.
3 for 3. Now Astral Authority starting to back up. Only able to get about half of what Xenosy was able to capture through on that point. Respawn starting to come through for both teams. Tooney taking a lot of poke, and this is, that's what I was worried about, with Victor, with being a Grover on the enemy team, a Shaolin and a Cassie, a lot of 0 fall off, and Victor, he has a lot of fall off.
He's getting pocket healed, Nick. I mean, I was like, why is his health running back up in these fights so much? They're really focusing. Smidgen is really helping him, but look at this. Despite getting a kill, he goes out right away. iDropBodies does fall, but is Evulli alive to change this scenario? And he's going to help PowTecH clean up Smidgen and Cacanuck. And now Madman and Evulli are raging in this point fight and in the zone, and Z1 Unknown really has a big task ahead of him here.
Yeah, can't really get in there without his teammates. We'll be able to blink in and blink out. There's the Ice Storm coming down, so at least over time, can be spooled through. He buys the time he needs for his teammates to get back. Tooney finally contributing to the team fight, picking up the kill onto Makoa. Overtime coming through already, and Z1 Unknown finding a big double kill in the back will all but assure this payload to go over to Xenosy.
Spring has come for Xenosy, for Astral Authority, excuse me. But the objective has actually come for Xenosy. 1-0 now in this game. 2 minutes and 18 seconds left to push as usual and try to make this a 2-0 lead for them. That wormhole card coming into play and just pressuring out so many people for Evie. And Flicker as well, Nick, just keeping her topped off and healthy.
Barrage is almost ready to go. Hexafire has been laid down, finds not much, just a zoning. Zoning Hexafire, we can call that out. Big hook though. Emitter has to come out. Barrage to try and stave off any follow-up, and it will be Xenosy that actually come out on top in that trade, but Tooney plucked and ducked.
If I'm Madman, I think you've got to take down Tooney almost every single time. So you want to know, cleans up Vex. Smidgen, he's going to have a way to get out of it, but Victor has absolutely no way to deal with that. And here it is, iDropBodies. If he hits one more, he may be able to clean this up, but not with tinyFetus just firing as the Ruckus, and that will be a 2-0 capture. Xenosy looking to get this one done and dusted quickly.
Z1 Unknown is so good.
He's the reason they're winning.
He's shouldering a lot of these. He's like, anytime Xenosy are wiped, I feel like he's always still alive. He's always just buzzing around the backfight, and as soon as he puts himself in these positions, right, where as soon as the reinforcements for Xenosy come in, he picks up a double kill in the backline. As soon as all the attention's not on him, he just starts destroying people again. And he has that ability to shift between, all right, I can stall, I can manage my cooldowns perfectly, and then now he can go into full kill mode and just pick up a ton of people. Has his ultimate ready to go again on a 9 streak right now. Haven 2, Life Rip, and Cauterize all online for the Winter Witch.
And Xenosy looking to take a left side flank against Astral Authority. Left turn?
That's a word. Left turn most?
Left turn most. I guess.
I actually think that's a word.
Okay, maybe. I might have made it happen. I might not have, but you know who is making it happen? It's Z1 Unknown. He's going to use his Storm to actually just cripple Cassie and get her out of the fight. So PowTecH will go down. Already kind of questioned that last game. And unfortunately, he's not getting the better end of the trade.
I think that's why he was having a rough game last game.
Yeah, and it seems like Z1 is just kind of focusing him down as well. We saw that previously. But Astral Authority now, Nick, showing improvement.
Because they took down Z1 Unknown. You know, iDropBodies was able to find, trading out that kill. All things told, I don't know that it was worth it for Z1 Unknown. Evie it's so much rides on her shoulders, being able to just buzz around the team fight there. The pressure wasn't there, and then Astral Authority get it done. They're able to find the payload.
One wipe? I mean, does she mean that much to the squad?
Well, when you're already in control of the point, right? So Astral Authority are in control of the point as the fight's happening. And then when you win the fight and you already have 30 to 50% of the payload captured, one win is all that you need.
That's true, because a lot of times we see that 30-40% go to the team that has to back off, right? Because they've been aggressive and they've said, okay, we're just going to, prioritize getting some objective capture. They try to win the second fight, but yeah, things went all the way towards that.
They always convert their first round captures, I feel like, and that is, what puts them in such a good spot, because they defend here. This round's equal. It may as well not have happened.
That's right. That's right. But Xenosy, if they're able to do it, Nick, it's almost game over, right? Not only are they equal 1-1, but it just means that they can win next round, and that's a lot of pressure that's added onto Astral Authority, especially down 2-0 in the set match game, pretty much here, and trying to finish things off. But Madman, a great job taking down tinyFetus there. I mean, that is not a good trade for that Hexafire.
Hexafire not on the mark, really. Bodies looking for the impale, but Z1's just going to back off, and that's some disruption. Now he's not on the front line, just sitting there waiting for that Eevee, thinking it's coming through. Even though Z1 Unknown is long gone, is valuable to this team fight. Bodies now rotating back into the fight, picks up a kill onto Smidgen, but this is still going Xenosy's way. The respawn proximity is heavily in favor, and Z1 Unknown just trying to chase this down and keep the pressure on. This is the hallmark of another good Eevee, is how far away from her team can she be comfortably?
Yeah, can she be comfortably and, stay alive, right? How much time can she waste? She can do a great job back there if he feels it. And of course, with Flicker, I mean, he's able to blink and gain that extra health, which is essentially a pop shot from Cassie, right? Especially with Taven 2 online. It's more than a pop shot from Cassie she's going to be able to heal back up from, and that's going to make that duel or just that damage hard and harder to get onto her. He gets 1 kill, hits Cassie for about 1,000, and then blinks and soars right back into the fight. Z1 Unknown is absolutely running riot on this team. If he's going to pick up this blink, oh my God, he's going to do it. Oh God, hit the spray, bro. Hit the spray. You need to do this right now.
He's a machine, man.
Is just coming through. There's no way.
Spray.
And this is their issue.
BM.
This is their issue, right? He doesn't even care about the spray. He doesn't care about the BM. Z1's kind of like a...
He straight up just won that fight by himself.
Right, but you know, his personality is more of like, I'm gonna do my business, right? College student, you know, he's out there, he's playing this game. He's like, I'm about making this happen. I'm not about wasting time with the BM. I'm not doing this, you know. He may do it on his streams, but in this game, he's about handling his business.
I mean, the Ice Storm came out, he finds the kill, right? He's got Astral Authority on the back foot, basically, at that point. He blinks over the wall, finds another kill. Sees Evulli retreating from the fight because his teammates have put him in a low spot. Capitalizes on that kill as well. I mean, Xenosy didn't even have to leave the base for that defense. You know, he shouldered most of the weight, and that's why we saw he went down very early on in that last team fight. And Astral Authority easily took the payload there, so he is definitely the key pickup if you want to get 1 kill, and they've got him scouted out right now with Cassis. They know exactly where he's going to be approaching from, and he takes a big blink, but Flicker just so strong right now.
Blink only on a 4-second cooldown, though. I think he'll live. He'll be able to figure it out when to use it again. And he heals right back up despite all that. Cauterize not having much of an effect onto him. He's already just doing so much damage prioritizing this. And that Wormhole 3, it seems like, giving him that extra 3 seconds to deal damage before having to go back. But PowTecH, huge kill onto Z1 Unknown. And now Madman swinging for the Raptors here, trying to finish it off with a Grand Slam. But can he actually get it? 934 health to his name. Is going to keep Astral Authority in this game with 80% on the counting, Nick, and they've won this point fight, and they've got the percentage.
But
according to that,
comes the thorn in their side. Nice impale arrow mid-air to keep Z1 Unknown from starting that overtime.
Bruh.
And we just need to take a minute and praise that. I mean, that's both rounds now. That's 2 rounds in a row. Z1 Unknown, he didn't die. Well, he did die, but he died later, much later in that fight. But he didn't get any kills. They scouted him out, and they poked him out. They kept him at bay, and look how it went.
That first shot from Shaolin, or whoever it was.
It was Shaolin. You're right.
It was. It made such a big difference. I mean, he has Haven 2, so instead of doing 1,000, it did 800. So he went to 1,000 health. You know, used the blink, but it was more just like mentally. It was like I'm feeling myself. I just got 3-4 kills, and now I'm going on this back. I don't even care if they scout me out. Boom. All right, here, I got to be a little bit more patient.
He has to use his blink to heal, and you know, it's 4 seconds, but that's 4 seconds. He's not ripping apart Astral Authority.
You can do a lot in 4 seconds in this game. And I think that's what the respite of not having Z1 Unknown's pressure onto the back line on Astral Authority gave them a little bit of that wiggle room. So then finally when PowTecH fights Z1 Unknown, he's not fighting the rest of the team. He's just able to actually fight Z1 and not be at this huge disadvantage from him blinking on top and just having, hey, I'm fighting this guy. Hey, oh, here's Eevee. Wow. I got to, I got to deal with Eevee coming out from the sky, which is, what he's been so good at positioning-wise.
Definitely, we're going to head on back in the game here to see if somebody from Xenosy's got to step up for me. I mean, it can't be Z1 Unknown every time they're carrying a lot of these fights. And that, Eevee, she is and she isn't that hyper carry, right? We saw Lazy, a lot of the value that he brought was in distraction. It wasn't converting on a lot of kills, but, Z1 Unknown is just the whole package right now on this character.
Tooney has fantastic aim as well. We mentioned this with the Bomb King. With Victor, he's going to make sure that damage is utilized to its highest and best potential, though I think he's still a little bit vulnerable here if Evulli gets rolling, and that's kind of what's happening. It really hasn't been the Victor story here. It's really been the Z1 Unknown story, keeping them distracted, allowing Victor to kind of hang in the backline. This could be bad. This should be a death for Z1. They cannot let him get out of this. Yeah. Absolutely not. Once Bomb King came over, that was
with the Bomb King there,
they're
good to go. That's an awkward thing, though. I actually talked to Theo a good bit about that because He's trying to figure out why sometimes Evie can get her ice block off before Makoa can shoot her after the hook, and why sometimes she can't. And that is basically what happens. There's Z1 gets into the ice block. You know, if Bomb King isn't there, he maybe makes it out of that situation alive.
Yep, that's absolutely true. Z1 Unknown actually just a master escape artist with Evie, and also a master thief getting into places he shouldn't be, and especially against Astral Authority. But Evulli, he's a master Bomb King. He's going to be able to get a couple of big-time bombs onto these big-time targets. That's 2. You heard the clink. And that means that there's some huge damage about to be going down onto somebody in the realm. Z1 Unknown, he wants to taste that bomb as well. Evulli says, come on, get it, baby. I'm serving all day. Buffet's open. You already paid your $11.95. And he and his squad are ready to move forward, but then he derps a little bit. Can't make it up to that right-hand ledge, unfortunately.
It's all right. Everyone derps every now and then. The King Bomb is available. If he gets up there, there's a lot of potential targets for him. Tanks from Xenosy starting to drop down as well. Like high ground positioning here. If he just goes into a King Bomb,
kill Tooney, dude.
There's a Victor up there. There's a lot of good targets. He's very low, though. Doesn't have an ability. He's just going to be forced to retreat. This is just flawless positioning right now from Evulli. He knows these angles like the back of his hand.
I really think he should have just gone for Tooney there. He was a sitting duck, man. And then you get down Victor. That's a lot of the DPS that your team has to worry about. Maldamba, though, that's a great pick as well. And he knows how to get out of there. It doesn't even hit the back of his head, which is such a common thing for Bomb King players.
It looks like the call already from Astral Authority is to hold ults.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, no one knows you're there. All 5 members of Xenosy are unaware of your presence. If you're going to use King Bomb this round, that's probably the time to do it. So that kind of telegraphs the strategy. They're going to try and do their best here, but they don't want to go all in and put themselves at a disadvantage in the next round as the team fight starts to break out. Evulli's still able to find the kills without that ultimate.
Feels good to be a Victor, man. I mean, unless a Bomb King comes over, this is what Tooney needed to be doing this entire time. Victor, where can he run with an actual Bomb King chasing him for most of this fight? Not far. But because Tooney, I think, prioritized getting those tanks down, he let that huge DPS come through. And even if you just start attacking Victor, he's got to run away for a while. And that just means your DPS on that team goes from maybe 3,000 a second to 2,000 or 1,700 while he's running away. And that could be the difference.
Yep, a lot of items coming through here as we're getting towards the way late game now. PowTecH doesn't want to be picked off by Z1 Unknown. The first one to get into that level 3 defensive option, 30% damage mitigation against Z1 Unknown. This will likely take him from a 2-shot to a 3-shot, so just buying every shot is vital in Paladins. We've seen fights be decided by single abilities and single shots time and time again.
No Dread Serpent, though. This is going to be big because Smidgen doesn't have that online. He's at 7%. He will not have that for most of this fight. And look at this. This barrage is just not coming out strong, and he's actually going to waste a lot of damage, a lot of time trying to shoot the shield of Makoa, which will not go down fast enough. Evulli find himself in the backline, pressured out, looking to get Z1, and this is huge! Great shot by Evulli. He's going to take down the flanker. He's in the backside here, and now it's all about finishing off this ruckus. He's a stationary target. tinyFetus, you're a good player, buddy, but there is no way on earth you are making it out of that one alive. And Z1 continues now to find answers that...
Did you hear that whirlwind go off? I heard a whirlwind go. Whirlwind definitely went off. I'm not really even sure why. A little bit of lull in the action right now. The respawns from Xenosy trying to find their way back, and they won't lose the game if they give up this payload, but they will put themselves on match point. They're not trying to do that. Immortal comes out to cancel out, or to protect the Hexafire, rather. tinyFetus finds the double kill there. Finally, some boys are stepping up from Xenosy.
Huge plays on both of those sides as well. I mean, tinyFetus actually goes down, gets the kill, but then Madman actually gets the kill on tinyFetus. His last act of a dying turtle was absolutely fantastic, and now the Maldamba, unfortunately, still alive, healing up his team. It's 99%. This could be the game. They've got to use their ults, and right now, this is a perfect time for Victor to be up on the upper flanks. No one's paying attention to him except Evulli. Can he get the trade? No, Tooney will find the DPS, and there's no amount of Ancient Rage, there's no amount of Spring that could change the fact that Xenosy will take over this set against Astral Authority 3-0 and move on to the
finally
finals.
A shining play from that Victor, who was he's so susceptible to being under pressure that whole game, but you can see how much damage he can put out when he is let free, when he's let off of the leash. We'll head on over to the scoreboard to see what he was able. I'll be actually curious to see where his damage numbers are sitting because he was under a lot of pressure that game. But oftentimes you'll see him get the Cassie treatment there where he gets 112k damage. And, you know, it's a big number. It's a big number. I get it. I get it. We're all impressed, but a lot of that is just meaningless poke. It really is just a lot of meaningless poke. But with Z1 Unknown on your team, I think every poke, every point of damage in poke is valuable because it makes it that much easier for him to do his job.
It's like sushi, right? You know, you get your ingredients prepared for you, and if you prepare them the right way, it's that much better of a meal. If Z1 can have a Victor just preparing his enemies for him with a little bit of a grenade, with a little bit of poke from aim down sights, it's just that much easier for Z1 to go in and finish up the dish. He was doing it.
There's no flank pressure coming out from Astral Authority either. You know, we got bodies, PowTecH and Vex that are really the only ones that are going to be able to do the damage from a distance. Evulli got in there a couple of times, just diving the backline. Oftentimes that's what we'll see Bomb Kings do because he's just not reliable from long range. So the best way to play him is really to just get in their face. He's pretty tanky, 2,500 HP. He can rip down. Probably trade 2 for 1 oftentimes if he goes, you know, full YOLO into the backline.
You know, also I really like to see the fact that Makoa loses. Unfortunately, I just do like to see that because everyone considering top pick, first pick, top pick, it doesn't mean you're going to win the game. You know, and I mean, I think they had a very good lineup as well. And duo tanks, you know, being able to support each other. I mean, Makoa is not that type of a tank. He brings something strong to the table that a lot of people love, single target, isolation, and taking them down. But you know what? He really couldn't sustain at the end of that point fight, that last point fight. That was all about sustain.
Absolutely here, and we'll see who can sustain in the finals here. Match point versus Xenosy. This is exactly the matchup that I hoped that we were going to get to see here. So old rosters collide here. Smidgen from Match Point colliding with his old squad. You know, Stolzy didn't even make it out of the round of 16. That's got to sting a little bit, I think, to see your old roster doesn't look like they've slowed down a bit without you.
And a Z1 Unknown, the guy you replaced, actually is in the finals instead of you. That's not I think the way that he wanted Super Bowl Sunday to go. But guess what? There's a lot more action to be had. There's next week as well. We got 4 weeks of this before we got 3 weeks of something else and 4 weeks of something else in the land. So don't worry about it. There's a lot more time to go ahead and play some Paladins esports.
Why did we make any articles or videos when we could have just done that?
There's a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff after that, and then a lot of stuff culminating into one thing that you're all going to watch. All right, we're going to see you guys in just a sec. Finals coming up. Match point. Xenosy. Don't go anywhere.